Hi. I got 10 content and I do not care. I have more on my action channel. Okay, this is okay. Sorry. I'll just get up 15 content. Okay, I'm gonna record the Roblox video and Fortnite video. Just comment in below if you want more. Go viral. Okay. Do 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 do. This is not how I get views. I'm stuck in the wall. Oh my god, I'm exploding. Holy hell. Join any social section of that. That's also quite a while. And then I have to make make it too, so yeah. Do 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 do. This is probably easy. And look what we get, like giving that 1,000. Okay, I got 2 videos. Second on Facebook. I lost on video. It's gonna give me a lot of cash, isn't it? But I got a little bit doing that on first and Wendy. They get out my house! Get out my house! Get out my house! I'm just uploading videos left, right and center. This is not a way of getting, well, it works good. Wait, no, I don't have one Roblox. Yeah, I had Roblox. So yeah. Here's my video content for, like, I just emptied it. Look this. I'm doing good, very good. Not a way of what I YouTube box, but I guess it's so much, so yeah. These are way more. That sounds popular YouTuber. Yeah. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm not gonna play this game. I'm just gonna steal a black screen for like 2 seconds. I think it's going to. And then. А? Куда? Нет. I shouldn't have it. I have a simple one battle pass. And a simple battle pass. Ten games. And after just look at this. Look at this. No, my friend. That's not my friend. I think it's his brother. So yeah. I'm just gonna spam my friends. Call me. Okay, what's that? Look and look at that. Sorry. And I'm going to go. I was put on my. Oh. Online.
Ты хоть бы сел, что стоит печатать?
Just stay more comfortable. This is a game for 1 sec. Oh, I am starting screen. Now it's trying normal. your nose. I'm gonna put your nose. Invite the party. Just that, yeah. Left barely people have left the game. And probably the one if he had me, but I believe that. Thanks, no. Accept. I have this game, get this game. I played video chat one day ago. 10 hours ago. He played it 18 hours ago. You go banned, boy. I don't know what I'm saying, okay? I don't know what I'm saying, I just... Can you get your friend? Ole up. Yeah. Dab. 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 Are you Abdullahi's brother? A cousin? A thingamajiggy? Or any ancestor? If you are, could you please get Abdullahi to call me on Discord? Please. enhancement. Oh, yes. I need a weapon. I need a weapon. Is that a new stink bomb? I think I see the new stink bomb. videos.
Приостановку этого мембершип, и никто даже мне не соизволил позвонить. Никто не объяснил. Тоже такой customer service, я смотрю, знаешь, не усирает. Все почему доверие.
It's again. Simple. Down. Oh, okay. 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 What do you want of me? No. Number one. And you spawn wet. That's it. Oh, I forgot I put the body swap up here then. I was going to turn over here. Cause look how good this car looks. body swap on Toyota. And added coupon look at Toyota. Hello. Hello. I need to test this. Test. Publish. Best day ever. Papa, could I do laser spins? Laser spin. Could I make the trampoline park? Прям кино завтра значит. Какие кино значит завтра? Disgusting. Leather. I got a school. Get.
5 ways that under 16s can drive. What's up everyone? In most cases, the love affair with cars starts in childhood years. We've all been car-obsessed kids constantly playing with toy cars, piling up magazines and testing our knowledge recognizing various models in parking lots. But in most countries around the world, the legal limit is 16 to 18 years of age, and if you're 14 or 15, those couple of years seems like forever. Luckily, there
The only thing actually giving me trouble isn't something I made or built. It's something I bought.
Meet war robots. Just kidding. This episode isn't about war robots, but about what advertising stands for. Or rather, who? This is Arnold. He places advertising. While the discontented crowd beats Arnold, I'll tell you why there's advertising in the world. Or rather, let's show you. Arnie, press the button. Arnold has just destroyed all advertising in the world, and with it, the international economy. Millions of companies produce mega ooper super tons of goods for people all around the world. Without advertising, goods and services can't find their customers. Millions of companies will go bankrupt, and billions of people will become unemployed. What to do? Hurry, go to the Meet Arnold channel and find out what to do if all advertising fails. Wait, you can't. The channel is no more. Without advertising, no one will know it even exists, and the release of new episodes will be impossible. Arnie, you better return everything back the way it was. Yes, advertising can be annoying, but it allows for you to exist. It allows for countless very cool things to exist in this world. And uncool things too. Take you, for example, Arnie. You suck. But I still love you. It's my job.
Your hands can do incredible things. They can put a smile on a friend's face, turn broken into brand new. They can turn beads into something beautiful. And now your hands can turn your idea into a reality when you build a website with GoDaddy Website Builder. Just type in your idea, select a design, connect your site to your...
Hello, meet Arnold. Today he's going to try to find Megalodon, a giant prehistoric shark, 50 feet long and weighing in at 88,000 pounds. It looks just like your mother, Arnold, only a little smaller. In order to find Megalodon, Arnold will have to plunge deep down to the lowest point on Earth, the Mariana Trench. Arnold, pay attention to this mark of 558 feet. It's precisely at this depth that a man will be flattened by the pressure of the water. Let's prepare you properly. Stop. And this door really can't hold both of them. Let's dive on. Sunlight only penetrates to a depth of about 0.6 miles. Arnold, look! These are hydrothermal springs called the Black Smokers. They eject water at a temperature of 842 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature is about 39.2 degrees at the very bottom of the Mariana Trench due to these heat sources. Well, here we are at the bottom. The pressure here is 108.6 megapascals. This is 1,000 times greater than on the surface. There is 1.7 tons of pressure per square centimeter. If you didn't have a submarine, you would have been flattened to the thickness of aluminum foil. It seems there's no Megalodon here. Because of the high pressure, everything at this depth turns into a viscous mucus. So you're at home here. Let's get out. As you can see, there are no megalodons, mermaids, or other magical creatures in the Mariana Trench. That's all fairy tales. You know, Arnold, I was wrong. Your mother doesn't look like Megalodon. Much more like the archdemon Cthulhu. Press a big Megalodon up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Hello, Arnold. Did you ever see the film Phone Booth? How about becoming the main character? You're at gunpoint, my gunpoint, and if you hang up the phone, I'll shoot you. Like this. Relax, Arnold. All you have to do is talk on the phone nonstop and live your miserable life. What do you usually do anyway? You watch movies, go to work. Do you even have a job? Of course you do. You work for me, Arnie. You're my bitch. You should keep an eye on the road. Every fourth car accident happens due to mobile phones. More specifically, 1.6 million accidents every year worldwide. This is 6 times more than because of drunk driving. Arnie, it'd be better if you had a drink. Are you listening to me? Arnold, what did I tell you about uninterrupted conversation? Stay on the line. Can you feel how your phone is getting warm? It's all about overworking the lithium battery. Lithium is an alkali metal that dynamically interacts with the environment. You probably bought your charger in a black market where they sell cheap counterfeits. This leads to battery damage and, as a consequence, explosion. Don't worry, Arnie. I'll give you a new phone, all in the name of science. I see you're tired. It's a pity, but you're not allowed to sleep. During the first 2 days of insomnia, you'll feel a slight trembling in your body and have difficulty with coordination. On the 3rd day, your nutritional requirements will greatly increase as your body goes into fat-burning mode. After 4 to 5 days, you'll begin to experience visual and auditory hallucinations. Your speech will become unintelligible, although really, I don't even understand what you're saying now. And the number of words you speak per day will decrease by 80%. You'll look like a zombie within a week, feeble, doddering, and unable to perform even the simplest of tasks. But I don't want to scare you. Tumors, now that's what we're talking about. Do you think Arnold is threatened with tumor formation due to the continuous electromagnetic radiation? Sorry to disappoint you. There's still no reliable evidence of phone radiation causing tumors. Cell phone radiation is non-ionizing and isn't capable of damaging DNA in the cells of the brain, even one as frail as Arnold's. Now, if the phone had more power, let's say 1,000 times more, such a phone will have an effect similar to that of a microwave oven. It won't lead to the appearance of tumors, but in less than a minute, it will easily melt Arnold's brain and body. You better watch a different movie, Arnie. Arnold, pick up the phone! I wouldn't do that if I were you. Tactical 6v6 multiplayer, heavy need of good strategy, rich 3D graphics. Over 70 million players have already installed the game. Download the game and get a super bonus special for my followers. 1 Griffin robot, 2 pin weapons, 2 Columbus weapons, 100 gold, and 400,000 silver. Well, Arnold, now you're gonna have to wait your turn.
Put your finger up if you like this video, send it to your friends, and subscribe to my channel. There are many more exciting experiments coming with...
Hey, just a heads up, don't get too attached to any of the hamsters mentioned in this video, because they're all dead. And I would say that no hamsters were harmed in the making of this video. Well, I mean, no hamsters were harmed while I made this video. They're all still dead, but some hamsters... they got harmed. Just keep watching. If there's anything I've learned that the internet just loves is stupid drama and cute animals. So I'm gonna talk about all the cute hamsters that I've enslaved. Our family enslaved quite a lot. It was my twin sister who really wanted a pet hamster and bugged my mom to get one. And my mom, being super nice, bought her the cage, and we bought everything else, including a little black hamster. We named him Squeaks. And he liked to do this really cute thing where he put all of his food in his hamster wheel, and it was made of plastic so he could do that. And then late at night, he would just run in it and it would sound like... it was like a more annoying maraca. I actually made a comic on paper inspired by this hamster. Wow, you got a hamster? Yeah, but he doesn't do much. Well, yeah, this type of hamster is nocturnal. Really? That means I'll hardly notice him. And then at night, he's trying to sleep, but the hamster is loud, and that's keeping him awake. And the joke is that he said he'd hardly notice him, and he's noticing him. It's not that funny. And I need to tell you about a dog that we have named Georgie. And actually, a little fun fact about Georgie. She was born on Election Day of 2004, which is a much cooler holiday to have a birthday on. It only comes once every 4 years. It's like leap year. It's more rare. So since George W. Bush won the 2004 election, we named our dog Georgie after him. Aww. And that also means that our 12th birthday was on the 2nd. I definitely won't be able to get this video out by that time, but still. Happy birthday to you. Yay! So Georgie can get the birthday, because it's her birthday, and Poppy can get the girl, because she's a girl. Do you like it? I wonder if this tastes good. Oh. Did you eat it? This is a huge waste of money. Anyway, back to rodents. This dog just loved to murder these animals. Well, I don't know if murder's the right word. No, murder's the right word. You have to understand that Georgie is a West Highland Terrier, and that breed is known for hunting small animals. So having Georgie and a hamster in the same house doesn't mix well. We had this little plastic hamster ball that we put Squeaks in sometimes. The first time we put Squeaks into his plastic ball, my older brother bowled him. Like a bowling ball. PETA, don't sue me. I was vegan for a week. And Georgie thought it was a treat just for her. A treat with a hard outer shell and a juicy middle. She would go straight up rabid wolf on that hamster ball. We didn't put Squeaks inside his hamster ball anymore after that. But there's even more to say about this hamster. One day, me and my sister came home from school and Squeaks was just gone. He escaped. Everyone check your pockets! We looked everywhere and we couldn't find him. We had to keep a close eye on Georgie at all times. My sister put up missing posters around the house. I don't know if those helped. We made these traps out of Duplo. Did anyone else's parents get them Duplo instead of Legos? No? Only my parents were that lame? Alright. We built this box thing out of Duplo, and we made these stairs going up to the top of the box, and we put lettuce on each step, and the plan was that the hamster would walk up the stairs and fall in the box, because they're stupid. But the traps never worked. And all the hamsters we got in the future that also escaped, we made the same traps, and not once did they ever work. 4 days. Squeaks was missing for 4 days. We found his body inside the wall. He was alive! My dad was sitting on the couch relaxing. It was dead quiet, and he just heard the faintest. Squeaks was inside the wall. We think he got in through our laundry chute. I don't know what I would do if my kid's hamster was inside the wall of my house. Well, kids, now's an important time I teach you about death. My dad ended up cutting 3 holes in the wall and lured Squeaks out with some lettuce. Poor thing, he was probably starving. Hopefully he kept some extra food in his cheeks. So even being tormented by the dog and getting stuck in the wall for 4 days, Squeaks still lived a fulfilling 2 years of life. Hamsters don't have that long a lifespan. We buried him in the backyard. After the Squeaks dynasty, we got some more hamsters. Squeaks 2, that was the next one. We thought maybe if we introduced Squeaks 2 to Georgie, then they could be friends and get along. I'll spare you the details of what happened that night. The next one we named Killer because he kept biting us, so get it? Killer? Yeah, he ended up getting killed. Nah, I'm just kidding. He wasn't killed. He lived a long and normal hamster life. Squeaks 2 was killed, though. I don't know if you picked up on that. We bought these 3 little hamsters. Seriously, they're the most adorable little things. They look like this. I forgot their names. We'll just call them the 3 amigos. Aw. The lady at the pet store told us that if we bought hamsters from the same litter, they would all get along. She was obviously just trying to sell us more hamsters. Or maybe she didn't have any siblings. But these bros just hated each other. They would never stop fighting. As I was writing the script for this, I thought, well, maybe they were just aggressively playing. So I Googled, do hamsters play with each other? Just to be sure. And the first thing that showed up, dwarf hamsters, which is what the 3 amigos were, are quite territorial and will not see former cage mates as old friends. They see them as threatening rivals. So there we go. You really know your hamsters, lady. So we had to get 3 different cages for them. We put them right next to each other, and I swear they still gave each other some death glares. I actually made a video a long time ago about this time I broke one of their cages. I was cleaning it outside, and for whatever reason, I was like, I wonder if I could stand on it. The answer, no, I couldn't. The glass broke and I bled everywhere, and I still have the scar on my foot. And then all the 3 amigos died off, one by one. Sorry, I'm getting really emotional. We also had this other hamster named Buddy, and I wasn't going to mention him because he just escaped and we never found him, except as my mom was reading over the script, because she reads over my scripts, thanks Mom, she turned to me and said, "Did we ever tell you what happened to Buddy?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You know how we couldn't find him? Well, we did, but the dog got to him first." This one time I wanted to buy a hamster and I saw some that were on sale, and there was this piece of paper next to the cage that said, "Please adopt us." Oh shoot, I'll take one of these puppies. No, not an actual puppy. I meant one of the hamsters. And I named her Pumpkin Seed because she was that tan pumpkin seed color. But then 1 month after I got her, she just died for no reason, even though I loved her. She had food, she had water. This wasn't the first time I was taking care of a hamster, okay? All the other ones lived for a couple of years. I was so sad. I totally got gypped! No wonder they were on sale. They were all halfway to death's door. I mean, I only had the hamster for a month. I didn't get that emotionally attached to it. But then later, I got a different hamster that I paid full price for, and I named her Gumball. Unlike all the other hamsters that were technically my sister's, this hamster was all mine. And she didn't have anything traumatic happen to her. She had a good hamster life. I was pretty sad when Gumball died. We lavished these hamsters, okay? We loved them. At least my sister did. She cried when they died and made little gravestones for them. Our mom used to always say, there's no point in being a skinny hamster. She gave them a lot of treats. So much so that it got to the point that the hamster would come out looking for my mom just by the sound of her voice. All in all, there's about 7 dead hamsters buried in our backyard. Rip in peace, little bros. Oh, Jose, can you see? By the dawn early line of the Were any of your pet hamsters brutally murdered by your dog? Tell me in the comment box below. Thanks for watching. Sorry you had to hear me sing. Man, Georgie turned 12 this month. What is that, 200 in human years? I have this kind of quick story to make this end card longer, but one time I was with some group of people that I didn't know too well, and I was talking to someone telling him the story about how Georgie was named after George W. Bush, and after I told him that, he said, "Oh, I'd kill that dog." Alright, man, that was a pretty weird thing to say. Before I say wear your seatbelt, I just want to say hi to Jacob, Josh, and Carson. Alright, that's all. Wear your seatbelt. And now for the presents! Anyway, yeah, this is what she liked to do to hamsters.
I'm gonna get another one.
I wanted to make this video about 6 months ago, but then I thought, no, I'll save it for Halloween because of theming or whatever. I don't know. Shut up, I don't have to explain myself. I'm excited to tell you this story. Wow! So, haunted houses. I think haunted houses, they're fine, but I don't want to brag or anything, but since the age of 16, I've never been in a haunted house that I was scared of. Granted, all the haunted houses I've been in were free and didn't have me sign a waiver, and when I was little, sure, I was terrified of haunted houses. It's just, I don't know, I think I kept telling myself that none of it was real, and then when I grew up, I just always knew that none of it was real. When you can see the severed hand is made of plastic, all the tension you previously had is kinda lost. And sure, I still get startled at the jump scares, but since they don't stab you or anything, it's always awkward afterwards. Hello? I'm just gonna walk this way now. Or maybe I don't get scared because I don't feel emotions anymore. Who knows? But there's one haunted house experience during my senior year of high school that I will never forget because it was probably one of the most traumatizing things I've ever seen. I haven't seen that many traumatizing things. And also, I won't forget it because I'm about to immortalize the experience by making a YouTube video about it. Alright, my senior year, I was part of my school's drama club. I was a theater kid. And the clubs at the school got to help do some of the activities for the school's fair. The whole school is putting on a fair, probably to raise money or something. It seems that schools are always in need of some extra cash. Have you ever noticed that? So the football team got to do the dunk tank, the band kids, like, face painted or something, I don't remember, it's not important. And the theater kids, since the fair is in October and that's Halloween's month, we got to put on a haunted house. Cool! The drama club was separated into groups, and we would each be a scary part in the haunted house. And we got to make the haunted house inside the school, so we had a lot of area to work with, and there was a lot of space in between each scary thing. My group, what we did is we dressed up as vampires, but scary vampires, and we sat at this dinner table and we decorated it with fake organs, goblets filled with blood, red Kool-Aid, and we had this freshman girl that was laying on top of the table, and we put fake organs coming out of her, you know, to make it look like we were eating her because vampires eat people. Okay, saying that out loud, I realize that doesn't make any sense. Why would a group of vampires be eating someone? They don't do that. We put a yellow shade over the light above for a good spoopy atmosphere. We had a smoke machine, some ambient Halloween music playing. Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Our group was pretty legit. Whenever a group of people walked by, we would just silently stare at them, and then the freshman on the table would scream at the top of her lungs. She was really good at screaming, by the way. And since we had so much space in between each of the scary parts, when they walked past us, we would get up and chase them. Yeah, it was fun. Okay, so you have to understand that theater kids are very loud, extroverted people. I need to tell you about this one kid who was in my vampire group. We'll just name him Balake. Yeah, Balake. Balake and I were both part of the school's improv club, so we were both pretty funny people, except Balake was just out there. He was loud. It seemed he was just always screaming. I didn't have any classes with him, but he was obviously the high self-esteem class clown kind of kid. So So Balake, being the loud and more popular kid, he got to sit at the head of our table. We had done the haunted house for about 2 hours at this point, and I want you to think what it's like to go inside a haunted house. Just going in for 5 minutes, that will already make me feel uncomfortable and sweaty. All the strobe lights, the smoke, and the freshmen over here who had to be constantly screaming bloody murder. Again, you did a good job, freshman. And we were supposed to get a break sometime in the middle, but since the haunted house was so popular, we didn't get one break. So I'm a little loopy after doing all this for so long, right? I was totally not ready for what was about to happen. This group of people walk in and we do our normal thing. We get up and we chase them, but Balake got pretty physical with this one little boy. Like he kind of shook him up a bit. And I didn't see exactly what happened, but apparently this little boy was holding a fish in a plastic baggie. You know those little tiny fish that are actually supposed to be used as food for bigger fish that you can win as prizes in fairs, and 99% of the time the fish die within 2 weeks because you don't have the right aquarium equipment, so you just put them in water and watch them slowly die? You know those fish?
Huh?
I didn't think people were allowed to bring their new pet fish into the haunted house, but I guess he smuggled it in or something. I didn't see the kid drop the fish. Maybe Balake slapped it out of his hands. That could have happened. I just heard a scream and I saw a fish flopping around in a puddle on the floor. Fish look like they're in so much pain when they're out of water. I don't flail around uncontrollably when I go swimming. Like, calm down, fish. I'm silently panicking because the fish looks like he's going to die in 3 seconds if we don't do something. I start thinking of places we can put the fish. The toilet. But Balake, without saying anything, just immediately bent down, cupped the tiny fish in his hands. He ran back to the table, he put the fish in an empty goblet, and then he poured red Kool-Aid into the cup. Nah, I'm just kidding. He got a water bottle from under the table because they gave us water bottles, and the fish was fine, ladies and gentlemen. It all happened so fast, and thanks to Balake's quick thinking, he saved this little kid's fish. The kid was still a couple of feet down the hall. Balake took the goblet in his hands, he walked it over to the kid, he reached out his hand to give the kid his fish. And then he just chugged the drink! Balake! He drank the fish! And this little kid let out the most blood-curdling scream. It sounded like this kid just watched his pet get swallowed by a complete stranger. It was honestly the loudest scream I heard that night. I bet the next group of people behind these guys were thinking, oh man, whatever's next must be really scary to get that kid to scream like that. The kid started trying to attack Balake, and I'm sure if he had the correct tools, he would have murdered him. Balake eventually spat out the fish. He didn't swallow it, thankfully. He just kept it swimming in his mouth. But I mean, that's what you gotta do when you're working in a haunted house. You have to scare people any way you can. I was just a bystander and I still wake up in a cold sweat thinking about it. Turns out this kid was actually Balake's little brother, so at least he didn't do this to a complete stranger. Man, you really gotta appreciate what lengths older brothers go through to torment the little brother. Balake's little brother, you might be watching, but I was there, dude. I know what pain you go through. I have an older brother too. I know what it's like to be Luigi. I mean, he never swallowed any of my pets. He would just steal my food. He also never let me win in Super Smash Bros. Anytime I was about to win, he would turn off the Nintendo. But I mean, I'm fine. Look how I turned out. I shouldn't be so hard on my older brother. After all, he supposedly watches my videos. No one send him a link to this video. I want to see if he actually watches these. Hey bro, you probably forgot all the times you turn off the Nintendo 64, but I'll never forget the first time I beat you in Super Smash Bros. Fair and square without a handicap. We were on Link's stage, your favorite character, and ironically, I was Luigi. So changing subjects, someone asked if I say wear your seatbelt because someone I knew died in a car crash or something. Nope, no one I've ever known has ever died in a car crash. I know of some people who've been in car crashes, but they all lived because they wore their seatbelt.
Hey guys, today I'm here to tell you what League of Legends is really about. That's right, I in my infinite wisdom have the real scoop, and Riot have given me the correct motivation to express my opinions openly and honestly. League of Legends has been a long-standing companion for me since way back in 2010, so 8 solid years of experience. Prepare to get schooled! Here's what you think you know. League is a dog-eat-dog world where only the best players survive. Thankfully, this isn't true. Let me tell you, in all the time I've played, I've never gotten higher than gold. Why? Not because I'm impressively average, but because I'm living proof that you can play this game non-competitively for years and never get bored. Yeah, sure, League is the driving force in esports with their giant dragons causing mayhem in the stadiums, but the lifeblood of the game is you. You, the player, who decides to goof around with their friends staging some elaborate trap in a bush somewhere. Despite some games where I get pummeled into...
Do you all remember that classic kids movie made in the 70s about a pig and a spider? Yeah, Charlotte's Web? Remember how it made us a lot of money? I mean, remember how it ended on a cliffhanger? What was he talking about? What do you think was a cliffhanger? I didn't think it was. No. Yeah! Big cliffhanger! It's been 30 years! Everyone wants to know what happened to that spider! The spider died, Ethan. Oh, I didn't watch it. But you got one thing right. Everyone is wondering what happened next. The first movie wasn't satisfying enough. America needs a sequel. Who would watch that? And then 3 years later, we can make a live-action version. Now you're speaking my language, Ethan. Everyone else, you're fired. For some reason, movie producers and showrunners think that kids are stupid and don't know what good content is. They probably think that as long as a kid's show is a cartoon and it's moving, they'll love it. Well, here's the truth, Hollywood. The cartoons don't have to move, but you do need to write likable characters and a plot that actually makes sense. The only people who know what kids like these days are YouTubers. Am I right, fellow youths?
Stop! Speak.
Hashtag let Pokemon go to the polls. I thought I had pretty low standards as a kid, but sometimes I'd be watching a show and even I'd think, this is weird. Why does this need to exist? Why are the animals singing? One of my favorite shows growing up was Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've actually been rewatching some of the episodes while I work on videos, not because I enjoy it this time, but because it's good background noise and sometimes the show will say something that's so stupid it's good.
Mokuba, what do I always tell you? If at first you don't succeed, blast them with your blue eyes again!
Anyway, because I'm an adult, I bought and framed 3 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And dang it, these cards are too small to even fit in the frame. I don't even know why I liked Yu-Gi-Oh so much. It was basically just anime characters playing the exact same card game over and over. Yu-Gi-Oh would be losing, he would give a speech about friendship or the heart of the cards, and then he would draw the Yu-Gi-Oh must win card. And most of the time, he wouldn't even play by the rules. And then rinse and repeat that formula for 200 more episodes and 4 spin-offs, and you got yourself a successful anime. I think Yu-Gi-Oh was the first sign that gaming channels were gonna be a thing. Kids just love watching other people play games, because they suck at them. Okay, enough about Japanese cartoons. If Yu-Gi-Oh was able to keep my hyperactive attention span engaged, then what TV shows did I think were weird even as a kid? Keep in mind that these opinions are coming from someone who thought the Star Wars prequels were good. So, Misa, take it with a grain of salt. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To be fair, I've never seen a single episode of TMNT. From what I hear, it's a good series, but just the concept by itself was enough for my kid brain to think, this show is silly and I'm not gonna watch it. Like, come on. Ninja Turtles? That's a little weird, seeing that turtles are slow and aren't very maneuverable.
Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
They're mutants? Okay, I guess that makes sense. And they're teenagers? Teenagers are mean to me. This is where I draw the line. Those are 3 adjectives that don't belong in a sentence together. And they're named after famous Renaissance artists? Why don't you just give them normal turtle names like Sheldon? Whatever. Let's go watch a real show about Japanese people playing card games. I used to think that the Powerpuff Girls was a girly TV show, and so I never watched it. But then the show got rebooted, and everyone on the internet was saying how much they used to love the original, and all I could think was, man, if only I wasn't a sexist baby. Do you guys remember Zaboomafoo? Zaboomafoo was the show on PBS Kids where a lemur and these 2 brothers named the Krat Brothers would teach kids all about wild animals. I always thought that the 2 brothers were named the Crap Brothers, and I only just learned their real names right now when I looked up how to spell Zaboomafoo. Also, they have a website and it looks like this. Anyway, one of the episodes was all about eggs. The Crap Brothers talked all about the different kinds of eggs animals lay, and then the lemur asks,
What's it like to be in an egg?
And then one of the Crap Brothers just appears in a giant egg and says, It's pretty squishy and gooey in here. And he brought a pizza with him.
Pizza!
I watched that episode as a kid and had 2 questions. 1, how do you get inside the egg? And 2, what laid him? The more I thought about it, the weirder I felt. This is how fetishes start, PBS. Can you believe my brother is inside this egg? Now, when I think back to movies I thought were weird as a kid, the first thing that comes to mind were those frickin' American Mousetail ones. They're about these mice trying to immigrate to America. Good luck doing a 2017 reboot. Dirty mouselums. Also, I have to talk about all those bad Disney sequels. They're all bad. Don't tell me, oh, I thought The Little Mermaid 2 was all right. No, they're all bad. My least favorite one was The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. I remember one time I watched both movies back to back, and just having seen the first movie and then seeing the opening scene in the second one, I thought, what What is this? This should be called The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I know those Disney sequels were just an easy way for Hollywood to make money, but think about how much more money they could have made if they just made good sequels. There was this one movie called Quest for Camelot, and as a kid, I liked this movie. It wasn't on my top 10, but it was alright. There was this one griffin who I thought looked cool and had a funny voice.
Precisely.
However, there's one part in the movie, and if you've already seen this movie, you probably know what I'm going to talk about, where a two-headed dragon sings a song about wanting to be separated from the other dragon. There's a lot of things wrong with this song. I don't want to go too in-depth, but at one part they dress up as Cher and Elvis for some reason, except kids who watch this are too young to know or care about these people, and any adults watching this with their kids are just thinking, this is uncomfortable. Keep in mind that it takes a team of people to animate something like this. This song had to go through multiple, well-paid professional songwriter people, and they all had to look at the scripts and go, yeah, this is definitely a good idea. The last movie that I suppressed was Charlotte's Web 2. Wilbur's Great Adventure. I don't think enough people are talking about this movie. I thought the first one was a classic story about a pig who cheats death because a nerd spider took pity on him. Also, I just want to talk about this one scene in the first movie where Wilbur found out the farmers are going to kill him, so he started crying, I don't want to die.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
I know this pig isn't even real, but that scene was the closest thing to turning me vegan. The sequel is exactly what you'd expect from a sequel made 30 years after the original to be. They did change the character design a lot. I guess all these celebrities are still doing plastic surgery. Look what they made Charlotte look like in the sequel. The reason I bring up this movie is because of a scene towards the end. So this one character just can't fit in with all the other farm animals. He's a black sheep. Literally, they made him a black sheep. He was doomed to be an outcast from the start. And then a fox has a musical number, attacks the farm, and then goes after the black sheep.
The other white meat.
But he doesn't kill and eat the black sheep right there, no. Instead, he kidnaps, or sheep-naps, the sheep and takes him to an abandoned house, as any fox would do. And then, I don't know if I'm interpreting this the wrong way, but watching this scene, I was picking up some creepy, non-advertiser-friendly vibes. The fox is basically telling the sheep, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put you in my mouth. Just eat him already. Stop licking your lips. Look what he does with his tail, and tell me you're not picking up some sexual tension. There's even a part where the sheep started to run away, but then the fox dragged him back down. Where you think you're going, sheep boy? I'm gonna be a furry. If you're weirded out by this, don't worry, I was too. And also, we're all done. Those were all the movies and shows that weren't too far suppressed down for me to tell you about. I asked a friend what movies weirded them out as a kid, and they said The Hunchback of Notre Dame. What are you talking about? That was a great movie. Get on my level, scrub. I used to watch foxes seduce their meals before they vored them. Were there any movies or TV shows that weirded you out as a kid? Write it down. Write it down in it.
Your hands can do incredible things. They can put a smile on a friend's face, turn broken into...
Welcome back to Random Thoughts. This time, part 2 edition. I want to talk about random things that cross my mind, but can't stretch them into their own videos, so I'm shambling them all together to make a weird video that's a whole caboodle of nonsense. If you haven't seen my first Random Thoughts video, you don't need to watch that one first to understand this one. Thinking about it, you could pretty much jump in at any point of either of these videos and you'll be fine since it's nothing but a melting pot of balderdash. Thesource.com is giving me a rainbow of colorful words today. Poppycock. Are there limits to what you can call a fork? There's 3-pronged forks and 4-pronged forks. Can a knife be classified as a 1-pronged sharp fork? You use them both to stab things. Well, I guess knives are more slicing and cutting. Can a sword be classified as a 1-pronged super sharp fork? Those things were definitely both created to stab. Can a fork fall in the category of a tiny, really dull 4-pronged sword? Is there a spectrum of fork to knife to sword? Back in like the Renaissance era, what if rivals said, "Sir, I challenge you to a super sharp 1-pronged fork duel"? Or even, what if, "Sir, I challenge you to a dull 4-pronged tiny sword duel"? Oh no! He brought a less dull, tiny, one-pronged forked sword! So you know bananas? Those yellow things? I don't know about your life, but I always grew up not eating any bruises on bananas. There's nothing wrong with bruised bananas. They're the same as any normal, non-bruised banana. I think. I just did research, as in the first result on Google, and it says for bananas to ripen, they start to make a hormone called ethylene, which sounds like an ingredient in gasoline, but it's not. It's what turns bananas from their super gross green bitter phase to the softer, sweeter, and quite frankly, more superior yellow phase. Yay, ethylene! But apparently, ethylene doesn't know how to chill out, so even when a banana's at the perfect ripeness, the ethylene is like, no, I think we can keep going. I think we can be even more ripe. What's the worst that can happen? So the banana just tries to infinitely get more ripe, which is what eventually turns it mushy and brown. No, ethylene. And isn't that just a metaphor for life? You can't endlessly chase the image of banana perfection you have in your head, little banana. You should try to stop and appreciate the ripeness you're at every once in a while. Or else you'll keep working towards something unachievable and get all mushy. Banana body positivity. Unless you're a green banana. Then I hate you. So the dark spots are basically just the banana starting to get too ripe, which means they're harmless. But they used to freak me out a lot, so I'd have to cut them off or something to be able to enjoy the rest of the banana. And then I started thinking, what if there was a banana monster that ate humans? Would they want to eat the bruises on humans? Ah, splits, this one has a bruise on it. You know those parts are still edible, right? I don't like them. I think they taste gross. Here, you can just cut off the bruises. It's fine. Let me just use this one-pronged fork of mine, and this started off all sciencey and informational, and then I think I ruined it. Since you brought up the topic of bananas, I was at a store checkout line one time, and this guy got in queue behind me. I didn't think anything of it until I saw this river of bananas scroll up to the register. Imagine, so you know how grocery stores have their bananas on display, and underneath the display sometimes there's more boxes of bananas? He had like 4 of those banana boxes, all laid out on the conveyor belt. I've never seen anyone buy that many bananas before. You know you have to eat all those in a certain amount of time, right? With the ethylene and all that? Is this your first time buying bananas? I looked up to see who this hero of a man was, and we made eye contact, and I didn't know what to do, but I felt like I had to say something because I was so proud of him, so I just went, yeah, bananas are my favorite too. What are fish's opinions on water currents? Do you think they think they're annoying? Welcome home, fish dear. How was your day at the office? Ah, fish wife. The currents were pretty strong today. I was swimming to fish work, and the currents swished all my fish papers out of my fish hands. I mean fins, so I was late. Our fish neighbor, Benjafish, crashed into me on my way as well. Currents were too strong for his feeble fish body. You know him in his old fish age. Oh, fish frick. Fish wife, there's no need to use that type of fish link. This is stupid. But are strong water currents for fish the equivalent to, like, strong wind for us? Wind is my least favorite weather. People with long hair can understand. Or do you think they're more like fun amusement park rides? Or at least slides? Like in Nemo when they were with the high turtle? That seemed like fun. I can imagine a fish charging fish money to let other fish go down the river stream or a little waterfall. Fun for the entire fish family. Fish-ny world. But then I remember those clips of salmon trying to swim upstream against the water to go have babies, and that whole ordeal just seems like an inconvenience. Especially because bears. Oh, fish frick! Are we all just brains wearing human meat suits? Let's pretend there's a fountain of youth somewhere. Let's pretend that's a real thing. Do you think that if you sat in it too long, that your fingers would get wrinkly? Ha! Get it? Because water makes your hands... Do you think if you sit in it for too long, you'll eventually just turn into your mom and dad because before you became a human baby, that's how you originated? If you wait even longer, do you become your grandparents? Can you keep going until there's several medieval villages of ancestors sitting in this fountain? Can we reach amoeba phases? RNA in the primordial soup? The universe itself! I talked about keeping a little list of these random thoughts as I think about them over time in part 1, and this point just says, why are bugs always pregnant? With no other context. So, I don't know what to talk about here, or what past Jaden was even thinking when she wrote that. As a kid, I would daydream a lot. In 4th grade, sometimes I would make up this scenario in my head where I would be in school like any normal day, and in the middle of class, I would magically be turned into a dog. Stay with me here. I'm not a furry. So I was transformed into a dog somehow, and I imagined that I'd get up from my desk, walk up to the teacher, and say, "Can I go home? I'm a dog." And that would be my excuse to get out of school. Haha, smell you later. So what's it like to be a normal kid? I feel like the majority of people would just try to pretend they're sick or something. Me? Nah, being turned into a dog would be the most logical and easiest way to get out of school. I didn't even have a follow-up plan for after I got out of class. I'd go home, and then what? Just be a dog for the rest of my life? Obviously, I had to be a dog that talked, so maybe I would have became a super famous talking dog. But scientists might want to take me away and run tests on me and my weird human dog brain. All I wanted to do was get out of class! I'd probably end up daydreaming about turning back into a human to get out of dog experimental lab class. Or I could just pretend to be sick like a normal science experiment test subject. So a few videos ago, I talked about wanting to collect those 3 polka dolls, and guess what your girl did? I finally found them, and they're sitting on my desk, and they're my greatest achievement. I found a septile a while ago, but like a week later, Thanks to Domix and Gingerpale for being Canadian, and also helping with lines. They're great buds. This is hopefully the last time I mentioned this in an end card, but I'm still interested in finding other animators. I talked about it. I made some new merch designs. Do you like them? I don't know, I think they're pretty cool. Link in bio. Hey friends who live in Canada, what do you think of Canada?
What do I think of Canada? Let's see. Well, when the snow melts, you get to witness the minefield of dog poop that people didn't pick up.
It's cold, but I like the cold because you can keep layering until you're warm. But in the heat, you can only get so naked. And then you just have a sunburn on your butt.
Every summer I leave Arizona to visit my family in Canada because we like seeing them, and they're really great. And yeah, we also don't like to live in a volcano. We normally have a non-stop flight, but this one particular trip we decided to do a layover to save some money. I think it was July 2012, so I was like 14. A couple days before our flight, my mom realized that my brother Jack's and my passports were expired. Well, this is either gonna go over well, or it isn't. Oh, it was so much worse. We got to the flight check-in and they said, "Hey, these passports are expired." Obviously. But it was only by a little bit, so the guy was nice and said, "Okay, I'm gonna let you all through and inform your layover about what's happening, but get those renewed soon." So we were like, yay, crisis averted. But wait, there's still 95% of the video left. That's because we were wrong. We landed in Minneapolis and the people said, "Hey, these passports are expired." Obviously. Oh, yeah, we're sorry about that. The man at the Phoenix airport let us off with a warning and said he contacted you about everything, and well, crap, I think we're actually stuck in Minneapolis. I guess this is our new home now, get used to it, kids. So it was my scared mom and her 2 expired children stranded in this obscure city. We went to a pharmacy, which for some reason also takes passport photos, but we had to wait until the passport place opened the next morning. Mom was having an aneurysm panic attack, but didn't want us to worry, so she was like, "Hey kiddos, time for an adventure." Adventure time! She took us to the Mall of America, which is the biggest, craziest mall in America with 4 floors of shops, entertainment, a mirror maze, bowling, roller coasters, aquarium. I've never seen anything like it. There were so many things to do. How could we choose what to do first? Roller coasters in a mall? 4 floors? A kid's paradise? People get married in that mall. We ate at the food court for 20 minutes and left because it was closing for the night. We found a hotel and slept in our clothes, even though we had our luggage. I remember on the light rail I said to Mom, "You know, I really like it here." Like the oblivious child I was, not knowing the weight of the actual circumstances. Having a grand old time listening to a High School Musical playlist on an iPod and playing with my stuffed animals. I freaking love stuffed animals. As a kid, I couldn't sleep without them. My favorites were Raoul the mouse and Ringo the raccoon. I've had them for years. Anyway, luckily, Minneapolis is one of the few places that has 1-day turnaround for passports for the cost of an arm, a leg, and your entire savings. So in the morning, we had to check out of the hotel, run to the passport place, and make it to the airport in time for our new flight. It was gonna be a tight schedule, but it was doable. We were on our way to get the passports when, in the middle of transit, I realized, Mom, I forgot my stuffed animals in the hotel. But no, it's all right. I don't don't need them. It's okay, really, it's not a big deal. I left Raul and Ringo in the hotel, and Mom was already having a mental stress breakdown, and I was not at all wanting to contribute to any more of that, but Mom, being the kick-butt awesome parent she is, defeatedly pulled out her phone. Hello, yes, we just checked out this morning. Would you check room 421 to see if there's 2 stuffed animals in there? Ma'am, there's someone currently occupying that room? And that was super weird to hear because we literally just left the hotel. How did someone already fill up the room? Turns out we just called the wrong hotel, so we got transferred to the right one, and they said they'd hold them for us to quickly pick up. So now the schedule was arrive at the passport place right as it opens at 8 a.m., get passports, run back to the hotel to grab Raul and Ringo, rush to the airport before our 1 p.m. flight, and I'd also like to point out that the last shuttle to the airport leaves at 12 p.m., so if we miss that shuttle, we're screwed. Remember, things were different back in the days of 2012 BU. Before Uber. Back then, the idea of paying to jump in a car with an unlicensed stranger wasn't very popular. At the passport place, we walked up to the desk, and the first thing they said was, "So both parents are present, correct?" Actually, he's 1,645 miles away. No. There was a solution. We could get in contact with Dad, send him a form to fill out, get it notarized, which means legalized by a notary, which means a person licensed by the government approves it, which... Okay, we don't have time for this. We have to prove the paper is legal, but there's a problem to that solution. It's 8 a.m. in Minneapolis, but 6 a.m. in Arizona, which means notarizing places aren't open. Now, my mom knows a lot of people, and one of her best friends is actually an accountant, which means she can get it notarized when she goes into work and get it sent back super quickly. Which, what are the odds of that? Mom, we should buy a lottery ticket if we actually get to Canada. So quick! Woke Dad, got the form filled, called the friend, did the thing, got the thing back, and somehow everything was accepted and we weren't expired children anymore. And off we were running down the city to get back to the hotel to grab Raul and Ringo. Okay, I'm gonna insert a tiny story detail. We left our luggage at the hotel so we wouldn't have to be dragging it everywhere, which means we would have had to get back to the hotel anyway, but it's much more intense to think that grabbing the stuffed animals was an extra step we didn't have time for, so we're gonna continue. We were sprinting to catch the light rail. Jax and I were running ahead, and for some reason Mom's knee started hurting and she started slowing down. Are you okay? And she was just like, go, I'll catch up, just get to the train, go without me! We made it. We sonicked into the hotel, grabbed Raul and Ringo, and the luggage we were already coming back for, reached the shuttle before it left, and finally fell into the airport.
Yay.
Sitting at our gate, waiting for the plane to swoop us off to Canada land with their moose and their poutine and Niagara Falls.
Well, technically Niagara Falls is made up of 3 different waterfalls, and the US actually owns 2 of them, but I guess Horseshoe Falls is the biggest and most popular, so...
Mom suddenly realized that she forgot my dad's letter at the passport showing that both parents consent to us, the innocent, helpless, pathetic children, crossing the border. In the past, security always asks us to show that consent papers, so Mom couldn't even have a relaxing plane ride being stressed out of her mind that we would land and still couldn't pass the border. After all that, she didn't tell us she was worried because she was already doing a frickin' dang good job of hiding the weight of what was going on, so she held it in the entire flight. But she told us afterwards and we gave her a slow clap. She deserved more, but we were kids. That's all we had. We approached the security booth, gave them our shiny new passports. They looked at my mom, my brother, and me. Have a fun time in Canada. They didn't ask that time! My mom, every time she tells this story, always says, they always ask. They always ask. They didn't ask this time. How the frick even? They always ask! And that was that. We got to Canada. That's it.
Wow, that was a lot of effort to come here.
Yeah, I mean, Canada's alright, but you guys have that Mall of America.
Okay, yeah, sure, cool. But I mean, we have West Edmonton Mall, which has an indoor water park and a theme park.
Wait, really? That exists? Well, I guess that automatically puts us on top then.
We were always on top, Dom. We are America's hat.
Woo! Yeah, Canada. I had to ask my mom the timeline of events during the whole thing because I was young and don't remember anything but eating in Mall of Here! Anything you say into this will reach hundreds of thousands of people. Do anything you want with it. Have fun. Pee is stored in the— After being inspired by other YouTube people for being more honest with their lives and struggles, I decided to slap my own mental health problems on the table for everyone to see. Look at it all. Gross. Help me. I'm not secretive about stuff like this, but I also don't really talk as openly as I want to about it because I never feel like anyone wants to pay attention to me and my dumb problems. You know who else has problems? Those turtles who eat plastic bags. Those guys got a lot of problems to deal with. Like breathing. I'm just a shy, quiet, anxious introvert. If you can't identify as that type of person, you're probably sick of people saying it all the time. And I can't blame you. It's pretty common to see people talking about anxiety and being awkward and, you know, crippling depression. As much as I like those types of jokes because they're relatable and can be used as a dark coping mechanism to hide the self-destroying thoughts that tear you up from the inside, I also don't want people to forget what the base of anxiety really is. One thing to clear up, I've had experiences where anxiety is confused with narcissism, which, no. I'm sorry, you couldn't be more wrong about anything. Ever. Is this a hamster? Still not as wrong as that guy. Narcissism is when you're overly full of yourself and cocky and think everyone loves you. Anxiety is related to an unbalance in your mind about your ability to cope with things, which creates an intense amount of stress and worry. Yay! There's a lot of different forms anxiety can come in, and for me, I'm struggling with social anxiety, which means I hate myself and think everyone hates me too! Woo! Ha! Ugh. There's an old Greek myth about this dude Narcissus who falls in love with his own reflection and dies alone staring at it. If he had a brother social anxietus, that guy would probably have a panic attack at the thought of people looking at him, internally die at the sight of his reflection, and then blame himself for dying. I've seen people misunderstand anxiety like, oh, do you think everyone's looking at you all the time? Get over yourself, would ya? When it's actually, oh no, I don't think everyone is looking at me because I'm great. I think they're severely judging me because they secretly think I'm more worthless than a dead clam. Even though I have no proof that's what they're thinking, and they've treated me very nicely ever since I met them. I just have a hunch. Not many things bothered me as a kid. When you're like 7, the biggest things going on in your universe are staying up past 10 p.m. and trying to convince your parents to buy you mechanical pencils. Even though I was blissfully oblivious to a lot of things, I still subconsciously knew there was something different. This weird nervousness followed me everywhere. It wasn't intense 24/7, but for example, say when I had to go to the bathroom, I would feel like people were watching me through the cracks in the doors and little marks in the ceiling, like eyes were always on me. Even though I was old enough to know that wasn't realistic at all, the feeling doesn't just go away, which is almost worse because then you feel like you're going crazy in your own head. But at the time, I just thought everyone had paranoid thoughts. You're saying you don't ever worry that everyone on the bus hates you because your backpack is too blue? Huh. Weird. Pass me that red marker. The constant uneasiness never fully goes away, even though I wasn't really conscious of having it in the first place. Once in my senior year of high school, I was in my English class, and we were all discussing something about how men and women are different, and sexism, and that fun topic. There were a lot of good points brought up, and I wanted to contribute, so I raised my hand, and almost immediately started shaking. My palms were sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom spaghetti, which... Why? I'm consenting to participation here. No one's holding my hands up against my will. Why do I all of a sudden feel like I want to crawl into a ravine and eat rocks alone in the dark? Jaden? Well, statements backed up by facts aren't inherently sexist. Like, so... On average, men are generically built stronger than women, which isn't sexist, just a general fact. But saying all women are weaker than men is sexist. So, like, you're not sexist if, you say to a guy, dude, you can't have babies. What am I saying? Who am I? While trying to talk, I started shaking more, and my throat closed up, and my eyes were like, here, need some tears? Even though I chose to talk. Why am I like this? I don't understand. And one day, it just came to me, like a mailman slipped a piece of paper under my brain's doorstep. What's